Alina had her first paid gig at 3. Her line was, "It's me." Her cute little baby voice. It's not like you can pay my kid less because I will come at you. Mama Bear Ferocious.
Welcome back to the 3994. Today's guest built a national voiceover career after graduating from Missouri Western State University. And now she's teaching the next generation how to do the same thing on LinkedIn. That's how she made this business. Tracy Lindley has voiced projects for brands like Walmart Business, NASCAR, Google, Uber, all from a home studio. She's built a national platform around voiceover and LinkedIn strategy, and recently has taught an online class for current Missouri Western State University students, and was just featured in the university's alumni e-newsletter. Before we get started, we got to thank our sponsors, NCMC in Savannah. That is one of our sponsors for this episode. And Greater Than Financial, Gina's Cafe and Catering, E.L. Crawford Construction, Pancakes, Pups and Suds, and Scooters Coffee. Tracy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jody. I'm so glad to be here.
So all these years ago, we met at MOPS, which is a mom organization, national, and we had a local chapter at Wyatt Park Baptist Church. And our kids were young. You had 3 of the 4 at the time. Mm-hmm. And you know what I noticed about you was you were in the front of the room with a great voice and in a leadership role. No surprise, all these years later, you've built a business on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's been a journey. I mean, we all come from somewhere, and we all the winding paths of life are pretty amazing. Where we can start and where we can end up.
What's interesting is, as moms with young kids, I think both of us coming from careers and graduating from college, trying to figure out what we're going to do. How in the world did you discover your voice?
I mean, it's one of those things where people have kind of noticed it along the way. And I sort of noticed it about the time that I started liking boys. If I made it a little bit deeper, I would get more attention than if it was up here like a normal person, right? So the dynamic of it was something that I learned in my teens, college years, and I would read out loud to kids. When I was about 12, I was volunteering at Rolling Hills Library. I'm very passionate about both education and literacy. Both play a huge role in leading me where I am now. And so I would read out loud to kids, and that just the act of reading out loud really helps develop that skill.
One thing that you mentioned kind of off camera was our voices as we get older deepen.
Yes.
Interesting, right? I was sharing with you that when I was at Mizzou, they said, Jody, your voice is way too high. You'll never be a news anchor. You've got to figure out something else. Do you want to be a producer behind the scenes? And I was like, heck no. So they sent me to a speech pathologist who said, here's the deal. You can either have surgery to change it, or you can work with what you have and try some speech therapy. And so senior year, I was like, I will prove you wrong. Smallest market in the country, got a job in Kirksville as the morning anchor. And I just felt like, don't put me in a box.
Right.
Like, somebody's going to like this high, whiny voice. And now all these years later, people are like, wow, your voice is really good. And I'm like, is it? It's deeper than it used to be.
Right. And we can change it. We can do a lot with it. A lot with the volume, the speed, pacing, tone, nuance. I mean, those are all sorts of things that I encounter on a daily basis of, what message people are trying to send.
Okay. Give us a peek into your life, because NASCAR, Realtor.com, I heard you on for a minute. I accused you of being on the TJ Maxx because I was like, that has to be you.
I've got a doppelganger. That wasn't me.
I mean, so what is life like?
Well, it's not as glamorous as you think, but when we get those jobs, that's pretty cool. So the NASCAR thing, they actually bought my audition, which almost never happens. And that's the beauty of having a broadcast quality home studio, because they can take that and air it. And that's why I don't put compression and things like that. I just send it raw. But, that one, I had a great coach. His name is Harry Dunn. He coaches promos, and I think the direction on that was mysterious cocktail waitress. So it was the whole, everything that happens in Vegas. Oh, what is it? Not everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. They want the deep, gravelly, mysterious. So that's what I gave them, and that's what played.
A commercial?
Yes, it was actually a promo. So a promo is a little bit different. It's basically a commercial for something that's going to be shown on TV. So in that case, it was a NASCAR event, and it didn't air very long because the event was coming. But those things are often very quick, and so that's probably why they bought the audition, because they just needed to get on the air, and they're like, that works.
Okay, let's bebop back, because you're a mama, you have 3 kids at the time, and it started locally. You thank someone locally for your voiceover career. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I was just trying to figure out my junior year of college as a communication major. What do I do with this, right? Every college student has that point where they're like, I really need to figure out what I'm going to do with my life.
What did you think you wanted to do?
I didn't know. Did you know what you wanted to do?
Well, yeah, since I was a kid.
Okay, well, I'm not one of those people. I'm just going to wing it and see what happens.
Which is really crazy. And
good for you.
It never went away. I stuck on it. But now I'm doing something completely different. So,
so there's that
change.
Too. Yeah. So I never said when I was a little girl, I want to grow up and be a voice actor. Never. I did not do plays. I don't come from an acting background. I'm actually a little I get some stage fright. I don't like people looking at me. And so for that reason, I don't like memorizing lines. I'm terrified. It goes back to kindergarten when I forgot my lines in the school play, and I've been traumatized ever since. But in this business, I get a piece of paper or, in a screen that mirrors my computer in my studio, and I get to read it instead of having to memorize it. Actors who have to memorize, that's so much harder, and they have to use the physicalities of their body. So I'm very thankful that nobody's looking at me and I get to read a script. So I decided I better get an internship and figure out what to do with my life. So I started working at Cablevision, now at Suddenlink. And while I was there, the producer hands me a piece of paper. He's like, hey, you've got a nice voice. I'm like, yeah, I've never heard that before. And he's like, why don't you read this? So I did. And it came so easily. I did 3 takes, I remember, and I was done. And I was paid for the job, and he continued to come back here and there throughout the years. Time goes by. I'm working as a claims adjuster, and then I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I'm every now and then going into the studio. He moved to a couple of different places, but by the time I had baby number 3, I'm carrying Jada around in this little baby carrier, and I have a toddler and I have a preschooler, and I'm giving them crayons and coloring books and saying, okay, sit over here and be quiet for 10 minutes. And I'm like, Jason, I'm really sorry. I can't do this anymore. He says, did you know you can do this from home? I said, no. Yeah, it's called voiceover. What? Because we are in a place in the world or in the US where voice acting is not a thing everyone does. If you go to LA, New York, everybody's an actor. Lots of people are voice actors. Very, very common. Everybody knows what it is. But here, that's not a career path we think about. But because everything I have a digital product that I can send out. I work with clients all over the world. I have a lot of clients in the UK and other European, one in Italy and other European countries. That time difference is not too hard. I don't have anybody in Australia because I don't even know if I could work for that time difference.
That's tough. Let me tell you, the authors, they don't show up. They always get the time change wrong.
Oh, it's hard.
And it's in the middle of 6 a.m. for her and 7 p.m. for me or something.
It's crazy.
So, yeah.
Time zone math every single day. But anyway.
2 interviews yesterday. No shows. Because we get the time change. They got the time change wrong.
It's hard enough just with U.S. time zones. I'm constantly converting Pacific, Eastern, hardly anybody's in Mountain, or Central. And so you have to be on top of your game when it comes to time zones, or you can miss opportunities.
Listen, basically, you're buying a mic, right? Very easy online.
Well, I started with education first. So your podcast is a great source of learning. I'm going to come in today and talk about what I'm an expert in. And there are lots of great episodes. I've listened to several now, and I'm always coming away with something really good. I love the episode that you just dropped on Lute. That's a great episode. I love Stacy's. I love Kelly's. So great people in our community. But when I go and listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video, I want to learn something. I want to take away something that I can apply, whether it's time management or maybe so-and-so mentions a supplement they use. I don't know, whatever. But I expect to come in and bring value. So I'm watching podcasts to learn. And that's what I did when I was trying to start a new career. I had to learn. And I don't have all this money to spend on actual formal education. I've already got a degree, but now there's this whole new area and a career path that I need to quickly learn about if I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as Jason was like, voiceover, I'm like, voiceover, type it in Google. I'm looking at all the things. So I'm busy with all the kids. We moved houses a couple of times. I didn't really have a good studio. So I used that time to learn. And I also knew that an online presence was very important. So LinkedIn is where I started because it's a more career-based social media platform. So I got on there and I started, first of all, connecting with just friends, people I knew. But then I had a video producer reach out to me and want to connect. And so I was like, oh, I should be connecting with video producers because those are the people that hire voice actors. So I started doing that. And you have to understand who needs your service or product. And then those are the people that you target on LinkedIn because you don't want to spam everybody, and we can only handle being told no so many times. You're less likely to face rejection if you at least go after the right sort of person that needs what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to develop the process of, okay, not just optimizing my profile so that they can see what I do and how I can help, not just connecting with the person that needs my service, but then the third thing is, let me send you an introduction message, short, but to the point of, I start off with, hey, thanks for connecting. I put, I take time to look at their work and look at them as a person and a creative. And then I give them a genuine compliment about the work that I see. And then I go into a quick little elevator pitch and then, hey, I'd love to be a resource. That's it. It really is not rocket science, but that revolutionized my career because I wasn't able to do what a lot of people do, which is casting websites. So a couple of the most prominent ones are voices.com and voice123.com. Those two are where a lot of, if someone needs a voiceover, they will list their job on there and how much their budget is, and then they receive auditions. They get them in the hundreds, but you can also say, I only want 100 and then cut it off because you'll get as many as you can handle. And I didn't have time to do that. And nor did I have a really great studio space at the time. So I needed to find work a different way. So I sort of carved out my own path with LinkedIn, and it ended up working out for me.
Which we've talked about. That is such a new thing, or was such a new thing in 2014. It seemed like people were on LinkedIn, we were connecting with our friends, and then this revolution happened where people were really, those relationships were really important, and people were building their businesses through LinkedIn. And you kind of got on the cusp of that. You kind of were the presence of, let me teach you how to use LinkedIn, which I always thought was interesting because the people that you were connected to on LinkedIn could have been looked at as competitors. But in your world, they were friends. I mean, you were sharing their business profiles. You were, sharing pictures of you with them. You were at voiceover conferences in the community. While you think it's so big, is actually quite small.
Comparatively to a lot of industries, yes. But there are thousands of people in the voiceover industry.
It seems like you know everyone and that you're very supportive of them.
I care about people. I can't help but be relational. If anybody's into Enneagrams, I'm a 7. We're very relational. We're connectors. We have an energy and a presence, and people are our everything.
And that led you to start consulting and really speaking at conferences.
Well, that was a big part of my success too, because I didn't realize this, but I became more well-known. And so people would start referring me. And also another smart thing I did was the kids got into voiceover, and then people were sending me referrals for the kids. And then I remember this one thing. Levi got an audition when he was a little guy. He was 9 or 10. A friend sent me this audition and said, hey, they're looking for a voice of this child for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a holiday card and they need a voice. And so Levi booked it. And then when they were like, hey, Levi booked it, and by the way, can we add you to the roster too? I'm like, okay, sure. And then I ended up booking a really big campaign for Dollar Bank. I don't do that anymore. Like, everything cycles through, right? Nobody wants to keep the same voice for too long, unless you're Flo at Progressive or something like that, or Jake at State Farm, right? Really well-known voices. But they're physically, their presence, and you think of Jennifer Garner, and Jennifer Coolidge for that matter. Like we can all think of advertising sort of greats that we recognize. And sometimes voices are that person too. Like I don't know who the Home Depot guy is, but I know what he sounds like.
Yeah.
But those kind of things are really hard to keep because usually advertisers want to change it up every couple of years. So you always have to have clients in the pipeline. And so that's why LinkedIn became so important to me. It was started back in 2004. So even a decade later, it wasn't new. But when it started, people thought of LinkedIn as only a place. It was like a job board. It was like, I want to find a traditional 8 to 5 job. Let me look on LinkedIn. It was the same as like monster.com basically, but just, it was the same intent. I don't know if you remember monster.com, but that is where I got my job as a claims adjuster. I don't even know. I don't know if it's a thing anymore.
I don't know either.
I'm not looking.
It's like the Indeed Upwork is now the trend.
Or like Craigslist. Is that around? Is that a thing?
It really has changed. And we'll talk about like the content, the algorithm, all of that in just a moment, because I have so many questions about it. A lot of the work that I do is content generation for LinkedIn for a company called Outworks. Shout out to Outworks in Chicago.
Awesome.
But the question would be, when it changed, how it changed for you. You were on the cusp of that. And then, you started teaching people how to use LinkedIn. Like your formula, you just went to a conference, put a little index card on a wall and hoped people signed up for the course. And now you have developed these courses that have really been key to your success.
Well, it did start at that voiceover conference. So a couple of years after I got into my career, it was 2016, and I went to a voiceover conference and I presented for the first time to a room full of people that I really looked up to and had been in the industry a long time. Afterwards, the response was insane. I got all these offers and to trade time for time and let me And then I started getting all these emails of, hey, can you just look at my LinkedIn profile and let me know? And I was doing those for free. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it's taking me an hour to do every single one. And so I said, okay, I'm going to start charging for it. But even that I couldn't keep up with because I had 4 babies to keep alive and keep fed and clothed and all the things. So I thought, okay, I can't clone myself. So let me just create a digital course that people can access on demand anytime. So that is where the LinkedIn Edge was born. And then I changed it up a little bit later to where I separated the LinkedIn Edge is now for any creative freelancer in the gig economy, like yourself. And then the VO Edge is just for voice actors like myself. And it may be a small industry, but it's still got thousands of people. So I still make a lot of course sales. And so that's also a nice passive income for me while getting my knowledge and expertise out into the world in a way that is outside of myself and my time. So I still want to help people, but I was like, I can't do all this consulting. And I'm not looking for LinkedIn consulting. That's my main job is voiceover, and it keeps me plenty busy.
Which you and I are so similar in that way. My main job being interviewing, what have you, and that being my freelance business, but also realizing that we say the same thing, give the same spiel
over and over.
Over and over and over. And so a lot of people are creating LinkedIn courses. They're creating courses that they're selling on their websites. I talk to authors all the time who are doing that. But in my world, my course that I'm developing is how to get press. So nonfiction, fiction authors, thought leaders, CEOs, founders, they don't understand, how to get media attention. I had no idea people do not know how producers think. They don't know how bookers for podcasts think. They don't know how to get on one. They don't know how to get on a television segment. They don't know how to pitch to journalists. I had no idea that was a thing. But my spiel over and over and over again was, okay, what's the problem? What's the solution? And why are you the person to give it to us? And that's all they care about. They don't care about the name of your book. They don't care about your name, nor your last name, nor your first name. They just want to know what the subject is and why you're the expert. And saying that spiel over and over again, perfect course. So I am tracking, but that's not easy. It's not easy to figure out what your niche is and in that path. So looking back, are you surprised at how this all has developed and where you are on that national level? Very well respected within the VO community.
I wouldn't say I've had much time to think about it. I don't sit around and think about how much clout do I have? I mean, come on. I'm a mom. I'm humbled every single day.
I know, but let me tell you that when I see you speaking on a national stage in the voiceover community, I'm a proud friend.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
I think the moment maybe it hit me was this March. I was nominated for a unicorn award, which in my industry is basically someone who's known for their character, someone who gives back. And I still remember the person, J. Michael Collins, who he has a conference called VO Atlanta, and this is a big part of VO Atlanta at the end. It's a big spiel, and everybody gets on the stage. It was a big deal. But when he called to tell me that I was an award nominee, I was absolutely speechless. And that's really hard for me to do. You don't get me speechless too often. I just couldn't. I tripped over my words. I don't know what to say about this.
Yeah.
I was so shocked that my community recognized me, not just for my talent or what I know, but my character. Mm-hmm. And that was a defining moment for me where I'm like, maybe I'm actually fulfilling the purpose that God has for me. And that's always been something that I pray for. I want to leave a legacy of don't look at this. Look at God. Mm-hmm. Look what he has done. He has perfectly created me with all of these skills and talents. And this is so cool because I'm wrapping up, but this summer, I've volunteered to be the associate or the assistant coach for the girls' weight training because my kids go to St. Joe Christian. Mm-hmm. And I volunteered because I found out the trainer is Dwayne Blakely. Mm. I don't know if you know Dwayne.
No.
You should have him on this podcast.
Okay.
He's so good. He could share so much good stuff about health and fitness and people he works with. He's a personal trainer, has been for, I don't remember I think he said 25 years.
Wow.
Anyway, I said, hey, can I come in and be the assistant coach? Because I'm just here to work out. Dwayne's a great trainer. And can I share a 5-minute devotion at the end of each session? So it's 8 weeks, 3 days a week. And I get to share a 5-minute devotion. And today's that I shared was about becoming God's masterpiece. It's Ephesians 2:10. And it says that we are God's masterpiece. And I think everybody needs to know that. Everybody needs to hear the message that they are created with a purpose, they are valuable, and that they have something to offer, not only their community, but the world. In whatever capacity God has for you, and we talked about a sphere of influence, you're an influencer. Your content is going out into the world online. And I mean, kids today, they all know what influencers are. But I was like, do you know that you're an influencer? Whatever sphere of influence God has given you, that's what you're meant to be and do. Share boldly about the love of God and the value that other people have in his sight.
That's so good. And Tracy, you really have stayed grounded. That's one thing I've noticed about you as you've done your mom thing, which is a daily lovable thing to do, and your career. You've stayed grounded. It looks like you're pretty balanced. I know you value staying healthy. I know that you value your time with God. And so how have you stayed balanced? I know that's such a crazy word these days.
I don't think I have all the answers. I have to give a shout out to my husband, Matthew. I mean, he really, we are so different. I don't know I think we discussed that you're married to somebody who is also very different than you.
Very different.
Okay, that can be a source of friction, but it's also a huge, huge blessing. I would never want to be married to somebody that was just like me.
Yeah.
They would look at everything the same.
We would choke them.
Oh, it would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm actually secretly competitive about the most stupid things.
Yeah.
And so it's silly. So I'm thankful to have a husband who is, for lack of a better word, the yin to my yang or whatever. He's the opposite. And it's literally like every single thing I think, he is thinking the opposite thing. He's so left-brained. I'm so right-brained. He's an introvert. I'm an extrovert, all the things. But I think he helps keep me grounded because he is just a really balanced person himself. His personality is super, super calm. He looks at things logically. Whereas if you're an Enneagram 7, sometimes we can follow our passions instead of following logic. Mm-hmm. I will say, though, that following my instincts has been a very good thing for my career. You have to listen when you start feeling a red flag happening, or when someone asks you to do something that you're not comfortable doing. Say no. If somebody gives you an opportunity and you don't really know and you're scared, maybe you should say yes. But, you have to really balance what you feel and what is true. Like, what's the reality? I feel scared, yet I'm skilled to do this thing. And then it's the whole balance of, does this bring me joy or do I hate it? So I don't absolutely love LinkedIn consulting or course creation, just to be totally transparent. I do those things because people need my help. But what I love to do is voiceover. So that's like all that I do all the time. There's always boring admin stuff, invoicing, but they got to pay us. So
I love that. Yeah. I mean, we have so much in common, obviously, and that's why I wanted to have you on the podcast. But I also want to talk about how you're investing in this next generation. I found it fascinating that you're doing this course. You've done this course now for alumni and students through Missouri Western. What made you decide to do that?
Well, it was kind of just a one-off thing, but I've built relationships and kept up with them over the years. The person who asked me to do it, well, there's two people that I'm still in touch with. One person's retiring and the other person hasn't been there. Well, time flies, so she's probably been there a while now. But anyway, they just asked me and I was like, sure. I've shared online many, many times. I've taught lots of classes. I've been presenting, whether it's a large stage or a small classroom. I've presented information about LinkedIn marketing several times and been interviewed on a lot of podcasts. So it's the same stuff in just, a different angle, and make it fun and point it to that audience. But I do a lot of teaching already. And I'm also the director of education at NAVA, which I would love to talk about. But anyway, it was just, she asked me and I said, sure. And it was no big deal. I was happy to do it.
Part of your passion there, educating people about NAVA. And so tell us, what does it stand for and why is that cause so important to you?
So NAVA stands for National Association of Voice Actors. And it came about because when AI was born, it suddenly became a thing for them to use fake AI voices. And so that gradually turned into, well, we can just use anybody's voice from anywhere online and we can make whatever we want with it. And NAVA was born because some of the board members and the co-founders, Tim Friedlander and Karin Gilfrey, they said, no, we are not having that. So the purpose of NAVA, and what one of our main things still is that we are advocating for the fair use of human voices. We will not allow, we are lobbying against just anybody being able to use anybody's voice or likeness. I mean, this became a big thing with Scarlett Johansson, right? I mean, we're having huge support from Hollywood because they're doing the same thing to actors. And now we have AI creation of, here's Tilly, the actress, and here's whatever, the singer. I mean, we're creating fake people, personas. I mean, it's very Ready Player One.
And tell us about your daughter, because the other day she was like, hey, I think that's AI.
Yes. So my youngest and I were watching something on TV and a digital commercial popped up and she thinks, and I don't know if the person, she's like, that actor looks like they're AI. And I agree, but I said, well, sometimes in post-production, they smooth it a little too much and maybe her skin just looks too perfect. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I can't judge. But the thing is, that made me realize even children are like, that doesn't look right. And even humans are like, that doesn't sound right. Plus, you're taking away jobs from humans. And you're using human voices without their consent or compensation. And that's the biggest deal that we have.
Well, and we talked that's something that I absolutely need to start thinking about. When you come at it from a contract perspective or a clause or any kind of statement, when you're freelancing, you don't have, sometimes people aren't signing these things. And that voice can be used without my permission. I have no clause in place. It's kind of scary. And really, it's not just voiceover actors or interviewers or podcast hosts. It is anybody.
Yeah. And what we are attempting to do, like I mentioned, Tim Friedlander and Karin Gilfrey, also Matthew Parham, three of our most active and high-ranking board members, they go often. I don't even know how often, to Washington, D.C. to meet with lawmakers and make changes happen. And so that's part of why I wanted to be I'm part of the organization. I mean, that's why I want to be part of the organization. So I said, let me stay in my lane. I will be the director of education. Let me get on the education committee. So I kind of started in, and as soon as I got in there, I was like, this is my jam. It just clicked. And I was like, I love education. I already teach. I'm happy to moderate. I know how to work Zoom. I know how to deal with the chat, and everybody in the community. I've never had any problems. Nobody comes in with snarky comments or anything mean. So it's so much fun. I volunteer and I work several hours a week for NAVA to give back to them, because this is a cause that I can really get behind and care about.
It's your livelihood too. And threatening a business that has, been so great to you, and then also that's taken so long to build, that's the last thing you want. A lot of people are right now very nervous about AI. Is there any part of it in your industry that is positive for you?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I don't know. I mean, I've recently been talking to other members of the board about even using AI for writing purposes. And right now, I can't decide what I think about some of it. It makes sense because ChatGPT, let's say, is taking information from online sources that it's not authorized to do. However, if you put it out on the internet, it's there. So it's different, though, than a Google search, because it's using other writing tools to write for you. So that's kind of where it gets gray, because it's very, very clear to me that AI should not be used for creating, but should it be used for work tools to help make my business world a little easier? And that's where I don't know.
There's a fine line.
It's tough.
There's a fine line. And it's not always right. I mean, we all know that. And somebody told me yesterday, you could put a filter on that to say, please do not fluff me up. Like, shoot me straight here. Do not put the fluff on this opinion that I'm about to ask you regarding my analytics or what have you. And so, very interesting topic. Well, I have to say that St. Joe Country Club, we're proud of you for what you've accomplished. But tell us about locally. You're raising kids in this community. What do you love? Why do you guys stay? I mean, I'm sure you could live anywhere working from home.
Okay, I was born here. I am born and raised in St. Joseph, Missouri, and I really love this community.
Tell us your story.
So, I mean, I was born here, and then after college, I thought I would move to Australia. I mean, literally. But then, of course,
I can totally
here comes
see
Matthew
you with the little kangaroos. I could see it.
Okay, I traveled to Australia. I went on a mission trip there when it was the summer after my freshman year of college, and I fell in love. Love it. It's beautiful. It's so far away. But they speak English, and they have $1, but they drive on the other side of the road, and there's just all kinds of things.
So you stayed.
I stayed because I fell in love. But otherwise, I was out of here. Honestly, but God had other plans. So I am still here, and I didn't want to leave St. Joe. I didn't want to be like, oh, I hate this town, I'm out of here. It wasn't like that. It was like, I want to spread my wings and have a life of adventure.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever done this, but I applied to work on a cruise ship.
Did you?
I never got hired. Thanks so much, Royal Caribbean.
Oh, man, you would have been great dancing up there on the stage. I wanted cruise director.
I wanted to do the activities.
Great.
Yes.
You would have been great.
I want to do bingo. I want to do the knobby knees contest and the limbo. Yes. I want to do all of it. I actually really enjoy senior adults, and those are the ones that cruise most often.
True. Although we've been on a few lately.
There's all kinds of people that love cruises.
It's so fun.
I think it is.
I mean, you really could start like a little club here in St. Joe, where we all go and dance and do bingo. And I mean, you could.
With all of our free time.
Right. With all of our free time. So you stayed, and what do you love about living here?
Well, I mean, the cost of living is a huge concern for a lot of people in other parts of the country. And now that I have friends that live in LA and New York, not even just those two cities. I mean, the cost of living is crazy all over the place. And I feel like we're in this little secret bubble where gas prices stay low. And as much as people complain about taxes, they're low. And as much as people complain about housing, it's low. And if they are going to complain, it's because they don't know the prices in the rest of the country. So I find that to be a very unintelligent, uneducated way of looking at things. If you want to complain about gas prices, take a look at your friends in California or New York or basically any other state. Texas is reasonable. There's more reasonable states, but the cost of living is great. I love the family values around me. It aligns with the way I want to raise my kids and the beliefs that we share with them. What else? Many good things.
You still attend Wyatt Park Baptist?
Okay, so I have to correct you. It was Frederick Boulevard Baptist.
Oh,
and
yes.
I still do
Thank you
go
for
there.
correcting me. I always get those wrong.
Oh, it's fine. But I love it there, and we've gone there for years and years and years. And we've, pastors have cycled through, but if anybody doesn't have a home church, come hang out with us. Paul Damery is our pastor.
Tell me about your kiddos. How old are they?
So Levi's 17, and so one son, 3 daughters after that. So Levi, 17, Jesse, 15, Jada will be 13 next month, and Alina just turned 11.
And voiceover actors.
Yes, they are. Alina had her first paid gig at 3. Her line was, "It's me." Her cute little baby voice. I have it on video. In fact, I think I posted it somewhere.
Have you just tried to make it fun for them?
Yes, you have to keep it fun.
Yeah.
But also, I found it this really incredible experience that I can share the value of $1 because they actually are making money. My kids make the same rates that I make because they're people and they're actors. And so they're making the same money. It's not like you can pay my kid less because I will come at you. Mama bear ferocious. Like, no. Like, I'll keep it cool. They're like, no, we can't work for that rate. You're going to have to increase it. And I've negotiated some really nice contracts for them. One really cool thing around, since we're talking local here, if anybody goes to Branson, do you guys ever go to Branson?
Yeah, we just got back.
Okay.
We went for the 4th of July.
There is a display there called Truth Travelers. It's an interactive, faith-based experience. And Jada is the voice of Ray, which is so there's this segment, it's hard to explain. Just go. It's really great.
Where is it located?
Well, it's in Branson. It's at Andy Williams.
Okay.
1 Andy Williams Way or something. I think it's what it is.
Okay.
So and we just got to check it out over spring break, even though she did the project along like 2 years ago.
Wow.
It takes so long for things to actually come to production. And that one is particularly intricate. And actually, if anybody goes to Pigeon Forge, they have a Truth Travelers there. And she has a whole 20-minute planetarium show that she goes back and forth with Katie Lee, who, if anybody ever listens to Adventures in Odyssey, I don't know if you did when you were a kid. I totally did. And I fangirled over her so hard when I first met her. But Katie Lee is the other voice in the display.
Wow.
And she plays this robot, and it's super cute. It's also educational, and Jada had to say some really hard and technical words. That session was challenging, but the people were so nice to work with.
That's incredible. It really is. Okay, so tell us about what your greatest hope is for your children. I know Levi is 17, great golfer, playing for Savannah right now. We're glad to have him. What is your hope for your kids?
It is that they would do God's will in their life, that they would be joyful all of their days doing the work that God has for them, no matter what it is, whether, they could do anything. The world's your oyster when you're 17 or, a kid. You don't know what's ahead of you, but I just want them to do what God has for them and that they would enjoy, because when we walk with God, and we are doing the thing that he's called us to and that he has created us to do and his purpose is for us, we're going to have joy in that experience. It doesn't matter how much money you make. We see people all the time that are millionaires, billionaires, and they're not happy. And then we see the poorest of people who are maybe in a place where they don't know if they can pay their bills. And they're happier than these people because they might be because if you're walking with God and you're doing his will, you're going to find your true joy and purpose. So that's all that I want for my kids.
That's so well said. And Tracy, I know that you have found that. And so you're an inspiration to so many. And so thank you for coming today and sharing that story with us.
Thank you for just letting me be me and creating a space that I can do that. I just want to encourage people to do what God has for them, and everybody has value and a purpose.
Well, you've definitely been an encouragement to me. So thank you.
I just love you so much. I'm so thankful for what you're doing here for our community. And I think You're just amazing.
Oh, thanks, Tracy. I want to thank Tracy again for showing everyone what's possible when you take a niche skill and turn it into a genuine platform. I want to thank her for coming back to teach the next generation how to do it, and this generation too. If you want to learn more about Tracy's work, check out her website and her LinkedIn. That will all be in the show notes. And go and like, share, leave us a comment or a review. Please check out our Patreon page too in our bio. It would mean the world to me if you would support this podcast. Until next time.